Колеги, вітаю і зараз
Invite the spokesperson of ATO, Colonel Lysenko, who will inform you about last events in the east of Ukraine. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. The situation in ATO area has not changed substantially. Militants continue active redislocation of personnel and equipment, and also strengthen their firing position from Russian Federation. We observe arrival of new equipment and enemy forces. Yesterday there was we approved a decision of an observation mission in Hukovo and Donetsk across point up to March 23, 2015. Because of inconstructive work of Russia, the mission will continue to work in a limited format because the area of its activity doesn't include other Russian border crossing points and other parts of Ukrainian-Russian border, which is under the control of illegal armed formations. Not far from Shastia, Luhansk region, our military men destroyed infiltrators that came to the city in ambulance. During the fight, they killed 5 terrorists, and unfortunately, we have some losses. During the day, militants shelled positions of ATO 3 times using sniper rifles and small arms. They also used small arms against a checkpoint not far from Novogrigorivka in Volnovaha district and Luhansk region. The terrorists used mortars near Frunze Slavnoserbsky district from Horlivka. They shelled using small arms Mayorsk checkpoint during the day. Illegal armed formations committed 9 military provocations against ATO forces. During the last day, we lost 5 military men. 7 got wounded. Because of Russian aggression against Ukraine, the state concerned Ukroboronprom started a big program input replacement. They were allowed to develop Ukrainian analogs for all Russian details and other spare parts to repair military equipment. As to Russian spare parts, which are impossible to make in Ukraine, the company will replace them and will import those spare parts from EU and NATO countries and from companies with international name. Spare parts, there are about 330,000 items. Now they solve the issue with 1/3. National Guards Academy continue the training. Officers improve their level of practical skills on a test field. Officers had exercises and they on Kalashnikov K-74 and Ford 221 on checkpoint on border crossing. Border guards allowed the humanitarian convoy of Red Cross and other groups. And that was for residents of Donetsk region. Trucks were loaded with food, hygiene items, and other things, and construction materials. In general, they led through 12 trucks for 130 tons. The situation on border crossing points becomes to temporary occupied Crimea on Kalanchak, Chaplinka, Chanhar. The number of trucks is about 400. The main reason of those lines is the plan of Russia to introduce since January 1st, declaring all goods that come from mainland Ukraine. State border service does everything possible to solve the problem, but lines to leave occupied Crimea, but there are no lines to leave from Crimea to Ukraine. For St. Nicholas Day, pedagogues in Kramatorsk teachers, and they teachers to ATO. In schools and kindergartens, they collected gifts, presents for soldiers in ATO. Kramatorsk factory Donmet produced several samples of equipment, special instruments for the needs of engineering units that demine bridges, roads in ATO area. In Lugansk region, because of damaged power grid, Chernuhin and Trохizbenka don't have power because of gas damage near Krymske. Without gas, there is Chernuhin, Atrosby, Izbenka, Kryakivka, and Sokolniki. On the territories under the control of DNR and in analog, Russian TV channels continue broadcast like Live News, Russia 24, and TV First Channel, and channels of terrorist organization reported in Novorossiya. They brought information exclusively and anti-Ukrainian information. Some of them belong to cable TV packages. The information of State Service of Special Communication and Protection Information. Yesterday at 7 p.m., Donetsk terrorists with DNR started to broadcast two more Russian TV channels, TVC and Russia 2, with a goal to counteract against the Russian Propaganda National Council on radio and TV broadcast allowed some European channels to broadcast in Donbass without license on free frequency. TV Ukraine, Channel 5, 1+1, Espresso TV, and Radio 24. During the last day, police of Donetsk registered 22 facts of stealing of cars that belong to legal entities. Those crimes were committed by terrorists on occupied territory. In Donetsk, terrorists stole 16 cars from expert center Dereshi Pro monitoring of Ukraine. 3 more in the Donetsk mine department. 3 cars from Oshchetbank in Amvrosivka. According to operational data of State Emergency Service from the area of ATO to other regions of Ukraine, only during the last 2 days, about 12,000 people left. In general, for Donetsk and Lugansk regions during ATO area, 550,000 moved. Psychologists of State Emergency Service had together representatives of NGOs and volunteer organizations. They provided assistance to 364 people, and in general, during the whole period, such assistance was given to more than 122,000 people, and including 34,000 children. In the statement of Barack Obama, he told that he signed the law HR 5859, support of Ukrainian liberty, and he underlined that США will cooperate closely with European partners for reaction for the development to the situation in Ukraine. Barack Obama called Russia to stop occupation and illegal annexation of Crimea, to stop supporting separatists in the east of Ukraine, and to comply with Minsk agreements. The EU Council introduced additional sanctions as to investments of services and trade with Crimea and Sevastopol. Since December 20, investments to Crimea or Sevastopol are prohibited. European and based in the EU companies cannot buy real estate or finance Crimean enterprises or to provide related services. EU Council says operators of EU will not tour operators will not sell tourist services in Crimea and Sevastopol, and European cruises will not stop in ports in Crimea, except cases of emergency. That covers all the ships that belong are controlled by European companies, so those that sail under the flag of EU countries. President of European Parliament, Martin Schulz, in his speech at the meeting of the EU Council in Brussels, he told that the EU should be ready to react with new economic sanctions to steps of Russia in case the conflict will aggravate. As a result, the president of EU, Donald Tusk, told about providing clear signal of readiness of EU as to financial support to Ukraine. Francois Hollande, at the end of the summit of EU in Brussels, he told France is not considering giving Mistral ships to Russia because Russia does not comply with Minsk agreements, and he told that in the nearest future that issue will not be discussed. Your questions, please. Can you about that attack in Chester? How many Ukrainian military men died there? Is it true that terrorists were killed before they stole that emergency ambulance? And yeah, there's information they killed a doctor, so they used the doctor to do that and to attack our military men. But terrorists, there was a clear resistance to them, and almost all of them died. And how many of them died? We don't have precise information of how many our soldiers died, and they were very brave. And they were defending one of their facilities, important facilities, and they did what's so glory to heroes.
Senate Bortnikov of the Fifth Channel. Can you clarify this point? When Donetsk port is attacked, two Ukrainian forces repel them with fire. We had some kind of ceasefire. We had no attacks against Donetsk port yesterday. They're just far distance firing and one shelling from a grenade launcher. If the attack is launched, and that will be dangerous for our personnel, we will destroy them with fire. No such fire was applied yesterday. And what is the prospect of this development? We cannot say what the prospect is. We are analyzing the situation, but this silence regime is being observed more or less. There's just firing, but no shelling, no anti-aircraft, no rocket launches, just firing by way of provocation. So we cannot say that this is escalation because it's day after day it's the same kind of situation. There are no big impacts, big engagements, just at Shasta. There was one exception. Our man died, but they destroyed the terrorists. And the replenishments coming from the Russian Federation in terms of vehicles and personnel. How many units, how many people, what kind of people, the professional career officers. We are talking about scores of personnel and some vehicles. We cannot specify the personnel. They combine both mercenaries and career officers from the Russian armed forces. Can you clarify the ambush? Was it against IDA because it's on their Facebook account that they lost some people and they were ambushed and attacked with grenades? And yes, that's the situation. But that was basically a planned offensive. Unfortunately, our men died, but we have no details. But that impact was engagement was a trap arranged for either combatants against them. Is there information at the leadership of the ATO on preparation of possible provocations, terrorist attacks in the ATO beyond the bounds of ATO as a New Year surprise attack? And what are the most vulnerable communities or areas, the most intensive operations we have at Luhansk, the safest? Well, there's no safe spot in that territory. We cannot say that there are some safe spots in the area controlled by the terrorists. They can act anywhere. They are not controlled in that way. In terms of terrorist attack threats, we know that our security services prevented one big attack that was planned for the center of Kiev. So we should not be off our guard. I suggest if you have any information, any kind of information, any hint, even if in doubt, you should report on some malicious intentions or suspicious movements, suspicious phenomena, because in that way we can deter another terrorist attack, possibly. And do they have any information, Skype communication with the so-called Donetsk People's Republic in Belarus that they we do not comment on any preparations when the venue and the parties identified. We will inform you. And the contact group, will they maintain communication by Skype? They maintain communication on a regular basis. This is the routine, and there are no comments as far as this part is concerned. Are there any further questions? Thank you very much.